Hello there, Aries, and welcome to your January 2025 horoscope. So, these horoscopes are going to be most accurate for folks if you watch the specific horoscope for your ascendant or secondarily, your moon. Of less importance is the sun sign, but if that's all you know, of course, feel free to watch that as well. If you're unsure of your rising sign or of your moon sign and you want to know that, I do have a free chart calculator at the link above. And hey, if you want to take a deeper dive into your own personal astrology, then obviously a monthly horoscope will allow. I do have several different types of astrological service. You'll find those at the link above. So, what happens when you keep putting things on the back burner? Eventually, if you kind of follow common sense, you're going to find that that back burner ends up filled up with so many things. And then that can actually get to the point where that back burner is having to find its way around all those things that are sitting on it, which is really just a metaphor of saying that, well, a fire is going to get lit under your you know what this month in regards to all of those things that you have been putting on the back burner. And most importantly, those specific things that you've been putting on the back burner that are more inspiring to you. Those things that you feel are important, most specifically in the area of career. So, those of you who have just been going, well, someday I'll devote the time and the energy to move myself in the direction of a more inspiring, well, career path for me, perhaps, or just more in the direction of things that bring me more fulfillment because, hey, I'm important. And Aries always gets a really bad reputation of being like very self-centered and thinking that they're the most important. And so then those really sensitive Aries types go, oh, well, maybe I'm not that important, but guess what? You are that important. And it's time for you to let yourself be seen. That's another big thing with this particular month. We start off the month with your ruler, Mars, forming an opposition to Pluto. Pluto's in Shravana, and Mars at that particular time will be transiting through Pusha Nakshatra. And this relates to a part of you that, well, may be kind of going, I don't want to step through that portal and do the things that I feel are most important to me because ultimately, what is everybody else going to think about it? Forget about what everybody else might think about it. Also, you may kind of be dithering, going, I don't know if I should do that or not, because after all, that might create a ripple here, that might create a problem there. So instead, I'll just impose limitations upon myself and stick in that same old dissatisfying agenda that doesn't bring me any level of pleasure whatsoever until you find yourself in a position where all those desires that you're repressing somehow come to the surface and go, you know what? We're ready to do something about it. And that ignites your passion. So your passion gets ignited. You start exploring those directions that feel more important to you. Then suddenly something in your mind goes, I don't know if that's really wise. Is this the stable thing to do? Is this something that's really going to be secure? Is it going to bring stability in my life? Well, it won't if you never start putting any energy or inspiration, that inspiration you've been bottling up and saving for a rainy day. Well, guess what? You can't turn around and sell it as cologne unless that inspiration of yours is somehow to make fragrances, and then I'd actually recommend that for you. So for some of you, this may be less about self-employment. It could be in related to putting your own aspirations and agendas over and above things like family. And so I'm not saying be irresponsible to your family by any means, but sometimes we tend to forget that we're of no use and of no help to our family, especially children, if we're not being a good role model in the direction of going, hey, you know what? It's also important to do those things that are inspiring to you. So January asks you to put the energy and the effort towards those things that are important to you, towards those things that bring you inspiration. And most importantly, for those of you who may be going, I just kind of want to hide away from the world and not do any of this, even though I really do, then now it's time to let yourself be seen. Now it's time to put yourself and your face out there to the general public. As you begin to do so, maybe around mid-month, you may hit a particular point where part of you goes, this is hard, this is rough. And so in your mind, you go, this is just too much struggle. So I'm not going to be able to handle it. And I'm not really sure what direction I need to go in the face of all this resistance that I'm facing. So where there's a will, there's a way. And sometimes when we hit that opposition, it helps us to refine our sense of direction and have a greater idea of where it is that we're really wanting to take things. So sometimes we can be prone to imposing limitations upon ourselves and then look at the world outside of ourselves and go, there's too many limitations upon me in terms of these things that I'm really wanting to recognize and that I'm really wanting to do. You can get caught up in that if you want. You can approach things from the philosophy that there's always going to be a sense of struggle. And yes, you're a Mars ruled sign. So when there's not a battle, you'll generally go looking for it. But sometimes you can make things a little bit easier on yourself. And so when that resistance hits, sometimes it's important to open your eyes, let yourself see things more clearly and from a wider perspective. Tune into your intuition, which you do have in abundance, and sooner rather than later, a way will open up to you. You'll tune in, you'll be able to see it, but you need to stop putting yourself on the back burner because when we do that, we know how the flames get high and how they get hot. So ignite that passion in January. If you could use a little bit of help finding a greater sense of direction in relation to your own personal horoscope or anything else, again, I do offer several different levels of astrological service. You'll find all of those at the link above. That's going to do it for this look at the month of January for you, Aries, for January 2025. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.